Hi, my name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr. I was born July 4th, 1986. I want to say thank you for tuning in. And I'm going to put a disclaimer up front. If you're a vegan, just go ahead and go away. I'm going to get deep in your feelings right now. And then again, I got to really thinking about this video for a half a second on you can't own a dog if you're a vegan because your dog is a carnivore and it's eating meat. It's eating animals. So that's kind of like a conflict of interest. I guess I can put that, saying that out there. Unless you're trying to feed your dog a veggie diet. I've heard that some people are getting so-called success with it, but dogs eat meat, and unfortunately, humans eat meat. And unfortunately, me being a Bible believer, that's not how we were intended to be, but we are here now. We were supposed to be eating veggies and fruits and grass and whatever we needed. And we also lived in a time that we got along with the animals, and we were cool with them, and everything got along. And if something happened and something changed. So regardless of which way you want to look at it, we have to look at the real life that we see today. Animals kill and consume and eat animals. Humans kill and consume and eat animals. And other insects eat and consume other insects, and other birds and stuff kill and eat and consume insects. That's a fact. If you don't believe that's a fact, don't go any further in this video. And that's something that I want to talk about today. And it comes down to the concept of, I get what dude is saying. Do you not care about the rooster's feelings? Is the words that I want to use here. You're allowing the dogs to express control over the rooster. And do you not care about that rooster? And you talk about, I have a conflict of interest going on, that I care about the dog, but I don't care about the rooster. And this is the part that I'm going to say is real life, and why if you don't have experience, you don't know. I'm not out here raising animals for fun. I'm eating them. And every single day, I kill a chicken every day to feed my dogs. And mainly just to feed one. If it's big enough, then a couple get to join in on it. Every day, I'm taking a rooster's life. Every day. Sometimes I'm taking a hen's life. In most cases, I like to keep the hens because this is the thing, again, with experience. These animals are not something to play around with. Some of them are hostile. And when they're hostile, every farmer is going to say this. You're going to either sell it, not say every, but most. You're going to sell it because you don't want that problem anymore. And or it's food. We're eating that, buddy. So when you have a cow, a bull, for instance, that's acting a fool. You got a mama cow even that's acting a fool, that doesn't want to stay contained, that's bum rushing, hitting you, hurting you, that's killing its young, not taking care of its kids. What do we do with that animal? We eat it. And that's what it comes down to in the end. We'll sell it to someone else. They're going to see that problem, and then they're going to eat it because we don't keep that around. There's no reason to keep it around. We're not here to have pets. Some people, this is the thing, some farms, y'all are pet caretakers. You have chickens because they're your pets, and you do everything you can to try to help them take care of them. But every time I go on Craigslist, I go on Facebook Marketplace, I go on these sites, everybody's selling roosters and or straight up giving them away. But because the thing is, you don't need it. You have no desire for it. And or you're like kind of keep it because it's cute when they're young. But when they get older and they start to get, the word I want to use here is aggression. They get aggressive. Billy goats, rams, bulls, roosters, all these animals, they start to get hostile. They're no longer just this cute, fluffy thing where most hens are, most cows are, most ewes and sheep are. Most of these animals are, for the most part, the female side of it are very docile. They're the coolest little things. But the males, things change. Do I care about the male's feelings when they want to start to get hostile? No. I take that chicken, I take that bull, I take that ram, I take that billy goat, and I process it for food instantly. I'm not going to play around with it. I'm not going to allow it to be here. I'm not going to try to change it. You're not changing it. It's what it is. This is a huge difference between a chicken and a dog. If a dog is starting to get hostile, I can start to influence change into that dog. But if my rooster starts to get hostile, you may get success. Someone may have a sanctuary to be able to, this is my future. Like someone put a comment that was incredible. My future may get to being a sanctuary to take in all of these animals that are like my donkey right now. That is a mess because he's not to what he's supposed to do. Some donkeys come out and they only want to attack what they're supposed to protect. That's what mine is. But I keep him because I don't know what it is. He's a pet and I have no expectations on him anymore, but just being pretty in the field. But he's not doing any work. That is a waste. So the main thing I can say, I can keep him because I'm not putting any money into the dude. He's just there hanging out. It's a waste of time for a working farm. For a hobby farm, yeah, keep him around. Keep him as cute and pet him because that's what I do. He's just he's a pet. And certain things like that. But as far as if I had 8 of them, 30 of them, 150 of them, I'm gonna get rid of him. If I didn't have the space to be able to keep him, and I was having to pay hundreds of dollars a month to be able to feed him, he'd be gone in a half a second. He'd be in the sale barn, and because donkey, we don't really eat the donkey meat, but he would go to the sale barn, and I would disclose he doesn't work that great. And the first thing they're gonna do is take that donkey, go take him to the meat processor. He's gonna be dog food in the weekend. That's what we do. That's the real world of life. Do I agree with it? It's not for me to agree with. This is the part that I believe. I'm going to say. I believe that dogs are the representation of the dark side of us as human beings. Because the things that we use them for represent something that is like kind of savage. We use them to hunt. We use them to kill. We use them to stalk. We use them to protect. We use them to guard. We use them to do some crazy things. Because this is stuff that why, for instance, like my Border Collie, he's from a specific a gene line, a McCollum gene line. And the guy was creating these dogs. I mean, this guy did savageness to create this dog. He was just killing whole litters, hundreds of dogs to be able to get to where he got to, where he said, I like this gene line. He was creating a Border Collie that was going to be able to work with the most stubborn bulls. He's specific to work for cows, not anything else in reality. The most stubborn, absolute ones. And you know what we do with the most stubborn bulls? We load it into a trailer and we take it to the processor and we eat it. We're not going to deal with it. We're not going to play around with it. We're not going to try to rehabilitate it. We're not going to try to reason with it. We're not going to try to do anything with it. We're going to say we're going to do what we're going to do with it the way that we need to get it done. So if I got a rooster out here that's acting a fool, and they're acting a fool in a way that it's not going along with the program, I'm not going to rehabilitate it. Sometimes some roosters get the chance to be able to live, say, a more freedom, free range to see if that's going to satisfy their needs. And some of them it doesn't. And I got one right now that I'm giving him 50-50 chance. If he does anything hostile again, he's going to be food split between Oreo and Johnny, and they're going to eat him. That's the reality. That's just what it is. That's something that I can say is why someone could say that I'm hypocritical because I am going to use my dog in its purpose to do what it is that I need. No, I eat my animals. I raise my animals to eat them. I raise my animals and then I do what I do in the best way I can to be able to keep everything in a peaceful manner. I'm not out here raising animals just to stare at them. This is work. This is my life. This is livelihood. This is how I'm able to live. Someone may say, oh, you can be a vegan. No, we can't anymore. Not everybody. If you grew up, if your gene line, so there's some people that live in the jungle right now that they've only eaten fruits and vegetables and stuff, mainly fruits. Some people live off straight fruit. And their genes for thousands of years, that's how they were born and raised. But not everyone's born and raised that way. Some people are born and raised off of just fish. So you can't just take someone's genes. This is why it's hard to, say, transform a dog from being a carnivore into being a vegetarian or a vegan. It just doesn't work that way. And this is the thing that pretty much every vegan that I know, and anyone that I know, and you start to ask these same questions to the vegans that you know, they need to take some sort of supplements. They need to take some artificial something. And you know what's crazy? If they don't do enough, because I used to be a vegan for almost 3 years. If you don't do enough label research, you're eating meat. You're eating animals from those vitamins because most of those vitamins come from a meat source, an animal source. And a lot of times they don't really fully disclose all that information on the ingredients list. So a lot of vegans that I know that I've ever been around, you need some sort of supplementation. But people that I know that are carnivores and eat a more high carnivore diet, they eat only just beef and chicken and fish and stuff like that, they don't take no vitamins. They don't take anything. They don't take no supplements. They're good to go. And they'll start to take supplements and vitamins if you're trying to use that diet, because most people that are on that diet are using that for a performance type edge to try to get faster, stronger, or something like that. So you're trying to double dose into what you're doing. But most you just eat the meat and you're good to go. You go do your blood work and you're good to go. People that are on a very, very high carb diet, most people, unfortunately, your blood work comes out weird. You're lacking in something and you're getting too much of something that we're generally not used to anymore. This is the thing. Do you feel guilty of that chicken that you just got from Chick-fil-A? Do you feel guilty of that hamburger you just got from McDonald's? Please, if you listen to me, one recommendation. Don't ever eat at these places. Just stop. I'm telling you, stop. It's the one thing that if you're like, I'm trying to lose weight and I can't figure it out, you can eat one of those burgers from one of those places one time a month and it's destroying it. It's just messing you up. It's got stuff in it that who knows what it is. Just stop. But do you feel bad or guilty about that? Do you feel bad or guilty about the animals that have been slaughtered so that your dog can have dog food right now? It's things that that's why I say, make it make sense. Do I care that my dog is doing what it's supposed to do? Express its control over the animal that I need to get out of here? No. I praise it. I encourage it. I support it because that's what they're created to do. When we go out and do boar hunting, I praise the dog for going onto the bite and never letting go. Like I kind of want to, I'm not real big on all that stuff, but I kind of want to be in the driver's side, in the back seat, going out and watching these guys use their dogs to be able to do this. It's intense. You think that, oh, poor pig. No, get the dog, get the catch. That's what the doggos, those dogo argentinos, that's what they're phenomenal at. Get on the bite and never let go off that bite. Do not let go of that bite or your life is in danger, because a lot of those dogs, unfortunately, they die. Every hunt that those guys do, a dog, sometimes it gets hurt or it dies. It's crazy. It's intense. Are we caring about the pig? No, we're doing what I want to say is the dark side of humanity that's there. And I don't run from it. I look at it, I expose it, I bring it to the light so that I know that it's there. I'm not going to run away from it. Like a lot of y'all look at your dog like, oh, my dog would never. I would like to put your dog in a room that the mouse or the rat can't get out of and just leave the door and walk away. And watch what your dog does. It's going to kill it. It's going to kill it. It's going to. It's not just this sweet, cuddly. No, dogs are savage beasts. In my opinion, dogs are the representation of our dark side, of the stuff that we do that is almost in a way sickening, but just savage. The stuff that we do as humans, the animalistic side of us, dogs come along with that. They're pairing with that. That's why certain dogs, that's why, like my border collie, I'll say, he's already genetically prone to be more hostile in getting his prey and doing what he's doing. He acts away when we're working, and when we're not working, he's the most sweetest, most cuddliest, most beautiful thing, because he's allowed to express what he was, what he is, not what he was, what he is. And that's hard for a lot of people. And that's why, like the breeder, I don't know what his standards are today, but I'm almost going to guarantee it's the same thing. If you do not have livestock, he won't sell you a dog. He gets some out of his litters that are, say, soft and not so dominant, and he will give to a pet, but you are not allowed to take one of his dogs if you do not have the need for them, because he knows what's going to happen. They're going to put him down. They're going to kill that dog because you don't need it. And that's the thing. That's the concept of farm work. If you got extra, you got a rooster, you got an extra this, and it's not, and it starts to get aggressive, what is the first thing that we do? We get it out of here because we have no need for it. When an animal gets sick, what do? You put it down. You feed it to the dogs. You cook it. You do whatever. You get it out of here. You don't keep it. When you have a goat that breaks a leg, you process it and you use it and you eat it and you consume it and you move on. This is life. This is why it's hard to talk to someone that doesn't live that life. They don't understand that. So for me, the way I talk about being more, say, soft and sweet and sensitive with my dogs, yes, because I can communicate to my dogs. If I see that my dog is hostile, I can communicate. I can bring that out of them. I'm not bringing that out of the rooster. I'm not bringing that out of the ram. And even if I could, I'm not going to waste my life effort on doing that because I'm on a mission here. I'm not going to feed an animal just to have it be a nuisance. That's like raising animals 101. That's the hardest part of raising animals. And people get to homesteading and do this stuff. It sounds cute. It sounds so pretty. It sounds so bubbly. Even if you go, so when people come and visit here, they don't know what's going on behind the scenes. They see the cuteness. They see the fun because I got rid of the problems already. And anytime that I see a problem that's starting to happen or this craziness is going on, I get rid of it. I'm not going to keep it around. I'm not going to purposely build something to isolate it so that it could be able to have a chance to be able to be. No, I'm going to get it out of here. That's the hardest part of doing this work. So when you don't have experience with that and you're looking from the outside, you don't know. That's a question that I believe was like the hardest decision for me when I was like wondering what to do with these my little boys, my goats, when they're all sitting here fighting each other. Every single person, that's meat, man. That's dog food. That's your food. You never had like some goat. What do they call it? The ribs. You never had ground goat. And I was like, I've never had that before. And I never even thought about that. But I guess in reality, that's what I was raising my goats for. They were boar goats. They were meat goats. My chickens are being raised for. I do buy in, unfortunately, the ones that I consume because they grow differently. But though every single chicken that I have on this property is for dog food. They have a purpose. They're not here to just hang out and just catch a free ride. They have a purpose. They have a desire. They have a design. And that's the part of the world the way that it is. I don't get to deviate from that. And I used to get in my feelings about it, but I can't because I got to survive. I got to survive. I got to move. I got to do what I got to do. And for me, I wasn't surviving eating fruit and veggies. I wasn't surviving. I was dying. I was like literally everything was just falling apart with me. The doctors are trying to tell me something, and I'm trying to like, no, I'm good, because I was on that propaganda of, yeah, everybody, we all can just eat veggies. And they're saying, no, buddy, you need this vitamin, you need this. And because a big one for me, I don't know what it was, but I was having a huge vitamin D deficiency. I was having I forget which ones it was, but I was having huge deficiencies, and my body felt it. I'd get lightheaded when I would stand up at times. I'd be lightheaded if I go for too long of a run. And I'm just trying to, I'll muscle through it. I'll muscle past this. And it's not real. It's not real. What's real is the unfortunate thing of the savage world that we live in. Seriously, we live in a savage world, a crazy world, a kill me, a killed or get killed type world. That is the literal world that we live in. Everything in nature is doing that, except us as humans at this moment. I mean, we still do it. We just threaten war because we're getting more technologically advanced to be able to do what we do. But everywhere around the world right now, somebody is being killed by another human being. Human is doing it to human right now. Unfortunately, that's the world that we live in. And the moment that you're trying to say like, oh no, that's not where I'm at, you're gonna be slapped in the face real hard with the reality. You're gonna try to be so nice to everybody, thinking that everybody is the same way. No, they are not. You're gonna try to help out so much for everybody. No, they're not. They don't want your help in a way of reciprocating that help. They just want to take from you. That's the world that in reality I lived in. But the world of being on this farm and doing what I'm doing has woken me up to the real world. This is why so many people, I feel like today, are being so disconnected from life, because a farm brings you to understanding life. There's cycles that go on out here. There's things that happen that you don't feel comfortable with, but you absolutely just have to do. And if you don't do it, it's going to bite you in the butt. Literally, it will. A ram will bite you right in the butt. It'll take its horns and it'll ram you and knock you over, or ram you into a fence, or knock you into a tree. And you're going to say to yourself, man, I wish I would have taken care of that, because now look where I'm at. Now look what's going on. And that's why when you have an animal like that, you don't want to breed that animal. You want to get that animal out of here as fast as absolute possible. And that's the thing with dogs that's getting complicated, because we're not caring about so much of the dog itself. We're caring about what it looks like. So you shouldn't be out here mating dogs and having breedings with dogs that are super fearful and anxious and all that. And we shouldn't be breeding dogs that are unless you're looking for a high dominant dog, then yeah, keep breeding for it. That's where my Oreo comes from. A dog that is just headstrong, that is just powerful. That's what we're breeding for that dog. That's why for me personally, I wouldn't breed him to do anything more, because they already have what it is that I'm looking for. I don't need to like try to figure out how to get from it, because the only reason I would breed that dog today is to sell dogs. And I would never want to sell puppies from him. That is no way possible. That is the silliness. But we're doing that today because we want money. But some of these dogs are being bred for purpose, for hunting. What do you think the dogs are doing when they're out going for a hunt? You think they're just asking, say, hey, pretty please, can you come over here and get into my mouth so that my owner can come and get you? And can you please just roll over so that he could just shoot you in the forehead so that we can go ahead and have dinner tonight? No, that dog is saying, I'm going to control, I'm going to force, I'm going to dictate, I'm going to demand, I'm going to kill you. That's what the dog is doing. And that's what we bred the dogs to do. But most people don't know that, because they're so far disconnected from it. And that's for a person like me, that's bringing that back to allow people to be able to understand that. We live in a hostile world, a crazy world. And when it comes down to kill or be killed, that's the world that we're in. We're not in this fairy tale of what someone could say is how the beginning of the Bible is written, how Adam and Eve are first on the planet. The world isn't that. And it's not that. And if you look at it in a sense of evolution, you for sure understand exactly what I'm talking about today. It's the strongest survive. The weakest get kicked out. That's why both scenarios in reality line up to where we are here today. So if we evolved from nothingness and came here, I can't say nothingness because there's something there, but if we evolved from fishes that got on and frogs and all this other stuff, and we're here as a people today, only the strong survive. The weak, kick them out, get rid of them. They're pointless, they're pathetic, they're not meaning. We don't need that. You're a little sick, get it out of here. You're prone to sickness, get it out of here. You're too short, get it out of here. You can't maintain weight, get it out of here. That's evolution to the core. And unfortunately, today, I don't know when it's really changed, but something's changed that everything, we don't want to look at it and view it that way anymore. We want to say, oh no, everything has an equal share in it. And when it comes down to animals, it doesn't. There's not an equal share here. But the thing is, me, as the caretaker of especially, this is a difference. There's a difference between dogs and horses are the same way. That we can influence change in them. We can change them. We can get them to understand what we're looking for. But with the other animals, they're just food. That's all that they are. And I'm not going to spend time on food to figure out how to be able to get in a better place. No, I'm going to make it to be faster to get to the food that I want. Because most of these animals, we don't really notice to say, this is the best word to use, but the behavior issues in them until they're food eating size. So it's like, it's almost purposely set up that way as a design of when the animal gets to age, that it starts to act a fool, you know which ones to eat right away. And then you know which ones to keep to grow more so that you can continue to keep growing the flock to get larger so that when the next one comes up again, you're going to eat that one. So if the average person has like, 2 or 3 or 4 cows, out of those cows every year, you're going to keep growing that because you only need to eat one each year for the family. You don't need more than that. So it's like it's set up in a design to just purposely be just in equilibrium. But if you allow it to just keep growing and growing and growing and trying to think like, oh no, I could take care of them. No, I could take care of them. No, I could take care of them. You're going to quit farming like within, which most people do, a couple of years. They don't make it. They don't make it because you have to start to make hard decisions that if you're not used to it, I'm not used to it. This is new to me. You have to start to make hard decisions that are you're not gonna feel comfortable with. But then what happens is you start to understand it. And when you start to understand it, you start to know why we're doing what we're doing. So for me, do I care that my dog is going to give pressure to, so for instance, my little bull, I'm already planning on processing him because I already know that that's his mission in life. He's about to be my food. But if I was like thinking about keeping him as a secondary breeder stock to be able to keep him out and to be able to do what I need. If him and my bull start to fight, he's going to the processor to be food, period. I'm not going to sit here and deal with it. I'm not going to worry about having to separate all the animals and work this flow and do this and do that. No, he's going to be eaten. He's going to go straight to the dinner plate. That's all of these animals out here. But I don't eat dog, and I don't need to eat dog. And dog has been created to help me with being able to eat my animals, to stay alive. Man, I'm telling you, if it's something that I don't hope it happens, but if it happens, more people are going to wake up like literally overnight to understanding this logic. That the dog is here to help you stay alive, to help make your life easy. We used to have to go out with little spears and even trying to go out with a rifle right now. We got these dogs to be able to fast track our lives to make it easy so that we can stay alive and eat. Most dogs were bred and created to do that so that we can stay alive and make our lives easy. They go out there, they protect and guard against something that can come in as a potential threat to take our life at night. They go out there and go find food. They go out there and go kill other animals if it's in the way, doing what it's not supposed to be doing. That's dog. Dog, that's what dog represents. Dog is not this cute little cuddly little fur baby. They're savage beasts. They're nothing to play around with. But we're playing with them today. That's why, in my opinion, why we're having issues, because we're playing with them. They're not a toy. They're not just this little object that you could just tell what you want with it and think that it's going to work. They have purpose. They have roles. And we're moving fast today. That's the part. If we were moving a little bit slower, everything would be fine right now. If today everyone was living in a situation like so we went from hundreds of thousands of acres to thousands of acres to hundreds of acres to teens of acres to 5 acres. If everyone was living on 5-acre lots right now and we were slowly just integrating and going and populating and doing it that way, we wouldn't have as big of an issue with these dogs. But we literally went from like thousands of acres to an apartment complex in like, not even 10, 15, 20 years. We literally went from that. That's why most people, when you go buy an Australian Shepherd, you go buy a Border Collie, where are you buying it from? An apartment complex? No, you're buying it from a place like where I'm at. And where I'm at is tiny. I got a small little 14 acres. This is nothing for these dogs. They came from, so even where I got from my breeder, that guy's got hundreds, probably 1,000 acres or more for where he's growing and but raising his and breeding his dogs at. And more likely where he got his dogs is the same scenario. We're going too fast. And these dogs no longer have a desire that what is in them. And then we try to act like, oh no, my dog's not like that. Your dog is like that. It really is. And the reason most people are having issues with their dog is because it's not able to do what it needs to do. Not able to go out and make what it needs to happen. Some of these dogs, this is the thing. Some of these dogs, this is the difference that I'll say. That I don't like allowing my dogs to dominate another dog of mine. Because in my personal experience, I've seen it get hostile for no reason when I'm able to convince them not to. But in reality, that's the order of what they're all about. That's how they function. That's what a dog is about, dominating another dog. There has to be that system. That system is in all of the animals, to us as humans as well. There is this system that there's one that is dominant that says, this is who I am. There's one that it may want to think that it wants to be, and the dominant one has to put it back in its place to say, no, you stay back down there. You stay down there. That's in all of us, that everything, even to the trees and the plants and the grasses, it's in everything. Why do you think there's just one tree? Like, for instance, it's just fascinating when I really think about this, when I look at trees. When you see a huge tree, it starts to consume everything around it, everything. A little tree will try to come, and that little tree dies because it takes all the energy. It's the dominant tree. Then we as humans try to come in and artificially do stuff. It starts to look weird. It starts to get strange. But in real nature, you have these huge trees and nothing around it. And if it tries, it's going to consume it. That's everything on this planet is that way. But for some reason today, we don't want to look at it that way. We want to think that, oh no, I can just, this is the part where I will say, a lot of people think that you have to use that role in everything. I don't have to use that. This is the part that I really understand. I do not need to use that role of, I need to force my dominance upon a dog. Do I force my dominance upon my bull? Yes, because this is dangerous. Do I force my will upon my donkey? Yes. Do I force it on a rooster? Yes. I told you to sit down, shut up. You don't get a choice. You do not have an option. I do that. Yes. But I've realized I don't need to do that with my dog. I can say to the dog, we can work together. Let's work together. That's why for me, I see a differences in lots of my dogs that many people don't have, because I'm working together with them to do that. My dog needs to express its control the way it needs to. It needs to express its dominance the way that it needs to. So I give them what they need to be able to express that control and dominance over. And then we can come back and they no longer need to try to control and dominate me. Now we're just working. We're just good together. We don't need to try to have a power struggle back and forth. We're good. And then the weirdest thing is, this is the weirdest thing. I've noticed with new things that I'm working with, that it doesn't even need to be that the dog is dominating another animal. I have fake stuff. I got a lure course that I allow the dogs to dominate over, and it gives them what they need. I've got a flirt pole with a trash bag. I don't use trash bag. I use a grocery bag at the end of it. Allow them to exert their dominance over that trash bag, and they're good. We're fine. That's all that they need to do. But once I come in and I now try to dominate this dog, it comes back and it tries to dominate me back. I don't want to get into that power struggle. I want to get into the struggle of, I'm going to dominate what I need to, such as my cows, such as my chickens, such as my goats, such as everything else that needs to be in that order. But as far as the dog, I'm going to allow the dog to dominate what it needs to, so that when we're done, we can come home and we can just have this amazing, peaceful, relaxed, chill, amazing experience that we're working back and forth with each other, not against each other. And that's how I, in reality, at the end of the day, am going to view, in the sense of a relationship with a man and a woman, the same way. I have things that I need to dominate as a man to be able to get done on this planet. I'm not going to dominate the woman. I'm going to use what I need in my work. My work. You're going to go, you're going to get stuff done. You're going to make the phone calls. You're going to make the hard decisions. You're going to get things done. You're going to be strong out there. And then that woman on the other side, she's going to have to do that with what she needs. So we'll just go on a real traditional. Let's just go real traditional, real old school, okay? Don't take this the wrong way. But the thing that the woman, for the most part, is dominating in control over are the children, is the house, is everything around going on in there. She doesn't need the dude to come in and say, don't do that and don't this. She's going to say, hey, you can come in and be your part, come in, and I don't need you to tell me how to clean the house. I don't need you to tell me how to clean clothes, how to fold them up. She needs to be dominant in what she's dominant in. And then the man needs to be dominant in what he's dominant in. And you go do your work, and then you come together and you come to an agreement of, hi, how's it going? We could just work with each other, work this balance back and forth. There doesn't need to be a power struggle, a power play, a power fight. There doesn't need to be any of that. There doesn't need to be, you sit down and shut up because I said so. There doesn't need to be any of that. You be able to come in, what I want to say is in a healthy manner. And that's what I believe most people are lacking in with the dog. You're like, oh, my dog isn't this way. My dog is, you're not allowing the dog to be able to express, to control it, what it needs to control. And the thing is, it's going to start to express its control over you because it's not being able to do what it needs to do. It's not getting the chase out that it needs. It's not getting the hunt out that it needs. It's not getting the moving the animals around like it needs. Some dogs just don't have none of this in them. But most people don't have problems with those dogs. It's the ones that have something behind them that they need to do. So what do? They try to control and dominate you. So then you as a human get this lens of, I need to now dominate this dog because the dog is trying to dominate me. So then that's why the mindset of the whole side of the training comes in of saying you need to be dominant over your dog to get your dog to listen to you. I'm going to say in that scenario, yes, because you're not giving your dog what it needs to be able to be the dominant being that it is. Dogs are powerful as far as the most that live on these lanes. Dogs are like at close to the top. And if you have a dog pack, which most of them are, they're social, so they stay in packs. A lone dog by itself, that's sketchy. But dogs like to be in groups. Dogs are going to mate to be able to get their group to get larger. And then when they're in a large group, these dogs as a dog pack, there's almost nothing that messes with them. Because most animals that are, say, more tough than them, they're tough in a one-on-one, such as a bear. Bears, for the most part, live pretty independent. It's like one, maybe two together, but they don't live in a group. A pack of dogs, why do you think we got packs of dogs that hunt bears and they take bears out of trees even? It's incredible. And a pack of dogs is almost like the top of the food chain out here that's in control of everything. Like lions, a single lion by itself, a pack of dogs is going to take it out. But the, what do you call them? A pride of lions, that's powerful. They're like very powerful. Pride of tigers, all these things, they're powerful. But one by themselves, they're not all that great. And that's the thing behind these dogs that they have in them. They're genetically made up to be dominant over all of the other species. And we're not allowing them to express that. And they can't express that, they're going to dominate you. They're going to start telling you what to do. This is the things that I see. This is why I'm more on get away from play, get into the work aspect of the dog. And I'm realizing it could be artificial work, fake work. The dogs are getting further and further bred away, but it's still in a lot of them that they have a desire that they got to go. And you got to allow that dog to be able to do that. And so, yes, I am, as a human being, dominating my roosters, my hens, my chickens, my quail, my goats, my cows, my everything. If I start to get other kinds of birds, I had pigs, I'm dominant over the pigs. Because pigs, they all started fighting. And I got in there and I fixed that. And I fixed that with the dog. I had the dog express its dominance over those animals to say, hey, y'all stop. That's what the dogs were created to do. That's what we bred these dogs for thousands of years to do. To go in there and assert their dominance to say, sit down and shut up. Don't move. So this is what I use my border collie for if I got a rooster acting a fool. He goes in and he dominates that rooster to say, you're not fighting. If you want to fight, I'm just telling you to shut up and stop. And then the rooster still wants to keep fighting at that. That's when I'm like, you know what, forget you, buddy. You're dinner. Yeah, I'm not going to deal with this over and over and over again. I'm not going to. And that's the difference between a lot of the livestock over a dog. The dog is only doing what it's intended to do. And again, I will state that I believe personally, this is why it's the system is set up through evolution to where we are today, that these so-called dominant livestock animals, that's for us to eat. That's for your dogs to eat. Those are the ones to get out of here. The docile, calm, sweet, submissive ones, man, you just keep growing that so that you could be able to have what I want to say is an everlasting life of food. But the powerful, the strong ones, never breed them. Don't breed that animal. You don't want it around. You do not want it. You don't need it. And that's where the dog is, I'm going to say, different in the sense of we need them to be powered. Not anymore. So anybody that's breeding dogs today, please, let's be responsible and start to understand that we want more of a agreeable, submissive dog. We do not need these dominant dogs outside of the work that they need to be doing. You don't want no submissive dog by nature that's going to be a police or a military dog. No. You do not want a submissive dog that's going to go herd and gather up cows. No, you need a dominant dog. You need a powerful dog. You need a I'm never going to back down type dog. I'm not going to ever take no for an answer. Never take no for an answer. And that's the danger that happens. If the dog doesn't have what it needs to be dominant over, it's going to do it to you. That's when the lens comes in. Now I need to be dominant over the dog. No, you don't. No, you don't. Thank you. There's some things that again, life experience teaches you something. It gets you away from the unknown. The unknown puts you into fear and it puts you into this I don't know what to do. So when you don't know what to do, you have to start to control and dictate and manage everything. But when you start to get more understanding, you start to get more knowledge, you start to see why and how things are, you start to realize why we're doing what we're doing. If somebody is going to say to me, I don't like that poor, well, for instance, let's just go with me. Talk my life for a minute. If someone's going to say, you don't care about that rooster you're allowing your dogs to express control over. I'm going to say to that, you have no understanding of what's going on. You've never lived in a scenario that you had to make a decision of what part of your breeding stock that you want to keep and what part that you got to let go of. You've never made that decision. It's a hard decision. For me today, it's an easy, automatic, upfront decision because now I know. Now I understand what to do. Now I see the purpose and the flow of how and why everything works together and it works the way that it works. But at first, like I said, I think a video or 2 or 3 ago about the factory farms with the chickens. I used to be so against. I was against it. I'm not for it today, but I'm definitely not against it anymore. I used to be against it. I was like, that's wrong. That's wrong. That's not right. And once I started getting in it, I was like, I see it. That's why I'm not against it anymore. I'm neutral with it today. Could we improve? I don't even know. I don't even think so personally. We're talking about raising food today at the standards of being able to feed billions of people. And forget even that. Just trying to feed so for instance, you go process a cow. This is where the numbers are getting weird. I can see weird stuff going on our planet right now that I get it. This is why I'm always back and forth with this concept of why the powers that be are trying to control us. Because there's weird numbers. The numbers just don't add up. A cow that you process is going to give you, on average, about 700-800 pounds of meat. 700-800 pounds of meat is approximately, for, I mean, who eats this little, but say a pound is a meal. That's 700 to 800 meals. You know how little that is? Like, that's where sometimes I'm always questioning, where are we getting all this food to feed everybody? You know how little that is? I ate my entire cow in not even a year and a half. I got 680 pounds of food back from it. I ate that myself. I mean, I had a couple meals that I shared with a couple people, but for the most part, I ate that myself in a year and a half. Myself. Where's all this food that we're getting to be able to feed everybody? We're running into a weird situation. And that's where we have to keep breeding and keep going and keep making and keep doing this. And someone can say, oh, we get out of it, we can go back to fruits and veggies, but our life, our evolution isn't set up for that. That might take thousands of years to go back to if we started today. We only eat veggies. We raise our kids that way, and the next kids will eventually get there. And I believe it will take thousands of years. That's not who we are. We're a meat-eating, savage-killing, destructive, chaotic, intense, evil society. Evil by nature with everything that's out and around here. And that's the thing. I don't want to look at it as being evil, but when you just think about the core of what it is, it is. What is the coyote doing tonight? They're killing bunnies. They're killing neighbors' cats. They're killing dogs. They're eating it. That is evil when you really think about it. But in another sense, it's survival, so it's a positive. It's a good thing because they're trying to live another day as well. But something has to die for them to live another day, regardless. Even if you don't believe in the sense that vegetables and fruits and all that, you have to kill it for it to be able to get something new again. So everything to be able to survive on this planet, we got to kill. We got to take it, we got to consume it, and then we got to reuse it and put it back out there, and then we could do it again. But that's the thing. In an ideal world, the best system would be for all of us to be fruits and vegetable eating. Because when you take an apple from a tree, it wants to produce more, and it wants to give more, and it wants to drop more for you. Whereas the animals don't quite work that way. They don't work that way. We have to basically force them to breed. We have to force them to keep going, where the trees just automatically do it. The grasses automatically just keep growing. It just keeps flourishing. That is an ideal world. I would love to be able to experience that ideal world. I would love to be able to be back into an ideal world. That's how I could only imagine how this really started out here. But I can only state that in the sense of being a biblical thinker. If you're coming based on a Big Bang and an evolution, we've never been that way. We've always been a hurt or get hurt world. That's all that we've been in. So when someone says to me that we want to go back to that, that means, even if you're not a Bible believer, that means that you are on board with being a Bible believer. Because that's the only way that could make sense. That's how our world was this perfect oasis that I want to go back to only eating fruits and veggies. That would mean that the dogs also only eat fruits and veggies. That would mean that the lions also only eat grass. But we don't live in that world. We live in a world that the dog eats chicken. It eats goat. It eats beef. It eats deer. It eats pork. It eats fish. It eats everything except grass. And you know what's crazy? My dogs eat grass to make themselves throw up if they need to for whatever reason. So they're actually using the grass to make themselves, the best word I can use here is to heal themselves. They use it as a medicine, not a way to be able to survive. And that's the world that we live in. That's the world that we're all around. And I don't need to dominate my dog. My dog does the dominance for me when I need them to do. And my dog doesn't need to dominate me, but it will if it's not getting what it needs. Because it needs, this is what's cool about dogs. This is why it's cool to see them in action doing real stuff. That's why it's cool to see, as much as I don't really agree, but I like seeing the passion behind the dogs on the bite sleeves when they're biting. It's cool to see it in person. Now, video is just like, it's not all that. You got to see it in person. When you see the dogs run, especially the dogs that run and then go and jump and catch on that sleeve, it is to see the dog is showing all of what dog represents. It's true dominance. It's true power. That's why the one guy, I really like watching him. And I like his sport dogs. I think it's just my eyes to see. I want to see it in person because I'll imagine it's like, man, I love to see this guy in person. But Haas, Shield K9. I personally think from the dogs that I see that he has on his videos, I think he has the best looking, most powerful. It's the power that I'm looking at. Maybe someone could have a better looking little routine, but the power, the intensity in his dogs, oh, it is incredible to see. It is so impressive to me. It's like nothing. It's like next level. It's like nothing else. It's so powerful. These dogs are so intense. They go in on those bites and they are raging. They are in full dominance. It is an amazing thing to see because that's what dog represents. He shows the true nature of dog. And people might not want to see it that way and not want to agree and not want to like believe that that's what dog is. But dogs are true dominant species. They are powerful. They are incredible, especially watching dogs that like the dogos that go into and the catch dogs for boar pig hunting. You want to see the power of a pack of dogs. That dominant one, the catch dog, that extreme dominant one comes in and it grabs onto that bull. I mean that boar, and it just holds. And then the catch dogs all come in and they all grab us apart. They are all just immersed. They are powerful. It is intense. That's what dogs are. That's what the thing behind. So that's when I see my border collie, when he exerts his dominance, I see what a dog really represents. I see what they're capable of. I see what they're about. I see exactly what they are. And they are not this little cute, cuddly little things. We're starting to get some to be that way today. But the true core of dog, of just say even 100 years ago, these dogs were used to be able to do stuff for us. That is, word I want to use there. I'm just going to say it. Sickening to us today. The things that we had dogs do for would sicken your stomach. Someone could right now go on YouTube. They're on there because the hunters are the biggest. Not going to get shut down. It's not going to happen. They got the money. Who got the money is going to keep doing what they're doing. Go on this YouTube right now and type in dogs hunting pigs and watch some of those videos. That's what dog are. That's what we have always been doing with dogs. It's straight up in reality. We weren't worried about putting on a show. We were worried about getting stuff done. And that's what I do with mine. I'm not worried about putting on a show. Man, my dog, he's a horn biter. He's not a healer. That's what his genetics is made up of. And his genetics are made up of that to do what he was supposed to do, is get the stubborn animals out of here, to dominate over them, because the bull is dominant. They're strong, but he needs to over-dominate their dominance. I can't. I can if I go out there and I could shock it or something, but 100 years ago, we didn't have cattle prods to shock cows. And I personally would rather my dog do the work than me shocking the animal. That's just me. You know, I may be wrong, but that's the way my lens. I don't want to shock my cows. I'd rather use the dog. And so he's exerting his dominance over. That's how the roosters are. They're exerting their dominance. They tough. They tough. They cool. They tough. It's fascinating to watch them, but they tough. And the rooster is exerting dominance. And my dog is going to assert more dominance over that dominance to say, sit down, shut up. I'm telling you to do it. It's a beautiful thing to see. It really is. But if you don't understand it, I get it. And I'm using what I need in a sense of getting done what I need to get done. So when someone says, oh, your message is permissive, but yet you're showing dominance. Yeah, of course. Why not? That's what's supposed to happen. That's the order of things on this planet. That's how it is. This is the part with humans that's getting weird. I do not need to assert my dominance over another human anymore to get what I need to get done. I don't need to do that no more. I could just be me. I don't need to try to force myself to be more dominant to be able to survive. I'm able to survive. And that may be, I'm just gonna say this, that may be the death of human, that may be the death of humanity right now. That may be. That may be me trying to learn how to purposely make myself to be more permissive, submissive type person as opposed to just asserting my dominance on everything. That may be the death of humanity. A person like me may be the death of humanity. Maybe. Might be. I might need to only always assert my dominance over everything and anything for society to keep on moving. But I don't believe so. But I also know this, that if the time comes, the real ones are going to show up. And some people that think they're dominant, you could think you are in a society that we live today. But the real ones are going to show up when something really happens. And that's the part that most of us will never know unless we go into some chaotic, weird, what do you call it? Doomsday, everything fails type situation. You're going to see the real ones stand up. Real ones going to get stuff done. And the fake ones, they got to shut up and go into what they are, a submissive person. And our world sets us up today to like be in a sense of fakeness. You can fake tough today without actually being it. And for me, I'm not trying to portray nothing. I'm just being me. And being me allows me to be able to realize how to be able to use all of everything around me for the benefit of its purpose, its intention. I don't need to dominate my bull. I'm smarter than that as a human. I got something else that could do it for me. My dog.